Hey everyone, Thyworm here with another SSF strategy breakdown. This time, Go voyages. No rerolling, no special charge, barely looking at the border modifiers, just slot in charts and run some of those. I ran 2 full inventories of Val, that's 120 charts, which equates to around 13 voyages. Let's dive in. I'm going to skip explaining the league mechanic, there are so many videos out there that do that. I will link the one that I liked a lot from Ziggy D, who is explaining it if you're looking for an explanation. I will just mention one thing, and that is while inside voyages, the lanterns point towards loot, so follow the direction of the green beams. Let's start by listing a few pros and cons I found during this little exercise. First, some pros. 1. No micromanagement, just plotting a route, maybe adjusting for 1 or 2 border modifiers, but for the most part just run whatever charge you may have. This means you also need barely any knowledge about the mechanic, making this accessible for everyone. 2. Good basic loot, meaning currency, essences and scarabs. 3. Lots of gold, which can be very useful in solo self-found for gambling, King's March or Dispatch, Kadiro. 4. You get all flame embers, quite consistently. 5. Decent experience and it's also quite safe, there is not that much juicing going on. Then cons. 1. For every voyage you have to chart 9 charts. This you can do in 2 minutes total, but I think it is still a con as charts by themselves aren't all that fun. 2. The loot outside of strongboxes and essences seems to rely entirely on border modifiers, meaning that a voyage with only a few strongboxes barely yields any loot and still takes quite some time to complete. This is an argument for rerolling border modifiers of course, but the silver costs spiral out of control pretty fast. 3. Similarly, certain charts are really good, primarily those that give strongboxes. However, those are also, as you might expect, very rare. Again, that means that setting up a rewarding voyage from only Go can be challenging. As this league mechanic takes place outside of the maps and has its own area or biome or zone, the Atlas passive tree has no effect, and neither do scarabs because you're not using a map device. As this is Alchemy and Go, I didn't do much in terms of preparation. Technically you're not even using alchemy orbs. You can, however, to increase rewards significantly. Charts before you run them can be crafted for starters. Border modifiers rerolled. Ducats can be used to change chart types. There are very advanced strategies out there, I'm sure, but I like to keep things simple. So all I did for preparation was to run 120 charts and use those in my 13 voyages. Let's talk about the execution. The charts I just speedrun pretty much. I think they are very boring and you can quickly run around, place 7 lanterns and return to the boat. That is mostly what I did. I don't go into the direction of loot or anything like that, I just want to get the charts over with. Should I encounter some loot though, I will click it as it's free loot and I'm not passing up on that, but I am not actively looking for it. Then the voyages, the setup first. I do look at the border modifiers because if you get a rare one, you should probably try to cater towards that a bit. I did not find rare modifiers though, they are rare for a reason. Only one voyage had rares drop scarabs or rares drop chaos orbs or gem cutters prisms, and then I make sure I add some extra rare packs to those tiles to get an extra, let's say 10 pieces of currency. But for the most part I just pick charts which are easy to use in terms of layout, those with either 4 connections, the crosses, or 3 connections and then 2 connections for in the corners. Charts with only one small line or one straight line are harder to plot, so I just throw those away for the most part. I just can't be bothered, unless they have a special implicit. This then results in very easy creation of voyages, usually a circular thing of sorts. I want to prevent backtracking because that is no fun, and then all that is left is simply run the voyage. Inside of a voyage I do pay attention to a few things, lanterns of course, and to strongbox icons and essence icons. The lanterns point to loot or other points of interest and they're worth investigating. Strongboxes, primarily operative strongboxes, which are now on the bottom of the sea, are worth opening. This league mechanic is particularly juicy for scarabs, and as you are always in need of scarabs in solo self-found, I would always prioritize strongboxes in a voyage. They also randomly spawn, quite often. You don't necessarily need them as implicits on the chart in order to find them, although of course that certainly helps. Otherwise, I left out all of the special charts on purpose, so you won't see a boss or any other special event. It is only white charts, meaning it is very consistent and I think representative of what you can find down here. I am therefore also not too concerned if I run out of lanterns. I wasn't following some sort of grand strategy after all, so not being able to reach a zone because you're out of lanterns is not a big deal. If you do invest in rares, for example, because they drop a specific currency from a border modifier, I would beeline to that zone so you get at least your investment's worth. For any other situation, I just follow the green beams and path towards zones I have not yet explored. Let's talk loot, and before we talk about that, you should know I'm on a rather strict loot filter already. There are many things that I'm not showing, but by going over what loot I am showing, you should have a good idea of what you can expect. Starting with the notable tab, notable stuff that didn't go into any of the stash tabs. I found 33 messages in a bottle, which I will open at the end. 23 ducats of various types, of course, 3 honor homes, 1 dread captain's cutlass, and 1 rot mother's mutiny, which you can rarely get from clams. 2 somewhat rare staves, a rare belt, this profane proxy ring is uncommon as well, some fractured gear as that can be a border modifier I think, 2 blueprints, a forbidden tome and a corrupted jewel. I want to emphasize the amount of gold too I'm getting. I started with 4 million gold and now I'm almost at 7 million gold. Almost 3 million gold earned by not doing a whole lot honestly, so in that sense a lucrative strategy. I did not count the dead man's sulfur as you can't trade it, and I doubt you will be crafting that much that you run out, but who knows. I have tons at least. Then let's move to the currency tab. With all the chests and strong boxes you drop significant currency, also more rare currency, 34 gemcutters prisms, 8 divines, 36 exalts, 7 annuls, 12 ancient orbs and 173 stacked decks, something that you also tend to find a lot down here. Then the fragments tab, there are some fragments here from corrupted monsters I believe, some special offerings as there are offerings to the goddess under the sea, 5 mortal fragments as well to enter Uber at Ziri, then the bread and butter of this league mechanic, scarabs. I think if there's any reason to want to run a new league mechanic apart from enjoying it, it is this. You'll be hard pressed I feel to get this many scarabs on basically no investment. A quick manual count gets me around 720-ish scarabs for 13 voyages including the 120 charts, so that's more than 50 scarabs per voyage without doing any strategy whatsoever. That's gonna be hard to beat for, a strategy where you don't need to know anything. Then all flame embers, which this league mechanic is the main source for I feel. I found 18 of them, a little over 1 per voyage. Small sample size of course. I barely ever use these, maybe I will make a video about these someday as well after I do a bit of research to see what you can do with them and how they should or could be used. I'm only showing tier 16 maps on the filter but barely got any of them. Only 9 tier 16 maps, 5 unique ones and that's it. Then some essences, but not a whole lot. And finally a very healthy number of div cards. These are 1 or more copies, not full sets. I found a few interesting ones though, a Brother's Stash, the Immortal for a House of Mirrors, but nothing game breaking. That's it for the loot. I will close the video down with some additional loot that I got from the messages in the bottle and also one interesting drop that I actually did not include of course. Let me know if you enjoy a video like this and what you would maybe like to see next. I will be off to do some more testing. Thanks for watching and making it to the end. Love you all, see you soon, bye bye.